We will we will begin today with the Defense Acquisition Individual Achievement Awards. This awards program was established in 2009 to recognize individuals who demonstrate the highest levels of excellence and professionalism in the acquisition of products and services, those who support the warfighter and protect the taxpayer dollars. We will begin the ceremony with the presentation of the Individual Achievement Award in Requirements Management. And at this time, we will show a short video of Vice Admiral Sarah Joyner, Director of Force Structure, Resources and Assessment, J8, providing her remarks on the significance of the Requirements Management Award.
Defense for acquisition and sustainment for the invitation to be part of this event. It is an honor to represent the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff at this ceremony. This is the 11th year that we honor a member of the requirements management community alongside Department of Defense acquisition professionals. As a director of the J8 team, I serve as the Secretary of the Joint Requirements Oversight Council and chair the Joint Capabilities Board as we work closely with leaders from across the department to collaborate with our resource and acquisition professionals to innovate across all domains to design our future joint force. The National Security Strategy, National Defense Strategy, National Military Strategy, and the Joint Warfighting Concept define our most consequential challenges and prioritize our activities to address emerging threats and maintain our national security. Requirements and management acquisition are critical as we compete and out-innovate our adversaries to deter and win when called upon to defend our nation, our allies, and our way of life. Through your efforts, the United States continues to field material solutions that equip a more lethal, resilient, interoperable, sustainable, agile, and responsive joint warfighting force. Increasing our speed, scale, and reach of these warfighting capabilities is vital to our nation and our allies. Thank you for your continued contributions to this effort. I am honored to recognize our superb workforce by announcing the 2024 Requirements Manager of the Year. Congratulations to Lieutenant Commander Grant Strickland of the United States Navy.
Thank you, Vice Admiral Joyner, and congratulations to Lieutenant Commander Grant Strickland of the U.S. Navy. Would you please come forward? Recognized for his outstanding service while serving as an adversary requirements officer, Lieutenant Commander Strickland has provided expert operational, resource, and requirement oversight of the Navy's adversary training for tactical aviation. As the single subject matter expert on adversary training in the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, he has expertly examined all programmatic and organizational efforts to ensure Department of the Navy programs provided world-class adversary training to every tactical aviator. Lieutenant Commander Strickland's collaborative work, understanding of active duty and reserve aviation, and cost-effective use of resources ensured this training represented accurate real-world threats and optimized air combat training for all naval aviators. And we'll ask you to hold your applause until after I've read the citation, please. Our next Individual Achievement Award recognizes excellence in acquisition security. The recipient is Mr. Israel Izzy Reyes of U.S. SOCOM. As the Director of Acquisition Security, Mr. Reyes is recognized for his exemplary leadership in the U.S. Special Operations Forces. Mr. Reyes has effortlessly taken on new or multiple roles across several acquisition security branches, offices, and over 30 industry locations that contribute to mission success. He validated secured delivery of Special Operations Forces capability, maintaining oversight authority reporting through several reporting cycles. Compliance of mandatory security training also jumped from 30% to 99%, the best in the U.S. SOCOM enterprise. In stressing the importance of continuing education, Mr. Reyes' efforts have supported the advancement of the broader acquisition workforce. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for Business Cost Estimating. The recipient is Ms. Catherine Jeffrey of the U.S. Air Force. Ms. Jeffrey has demonstrated exemplary commitment in her role as the branch cost lead for the Homeland Over-the-Horizon Radar Program. Her outstanding performance, professional competence, and ceaseless efforts have resulted in the development of a solid cost estimate used to support a $10 billion service cost position for North American Aerospace Defense Command and the U.S. Northern Command's #1 priority. The swift completion of this, while simultaneously providing an extremely defendable and traceable, heavily analyzed cost estimate, lends to the quality of her determination and attention to detail. Ms. Jeffrey's sound estimate ensured the program office secured $175 million of critical funding for long lead procurements necessary for early risk reduction capability. We now recognize the Individual Achievement Award for Business Financial Management. The recipient is Ms. Tracy Showman of Defense Healthcare Management Systems. As the Business Financial Manager for the DoD Healthcare Management System Modernization Program, Ms. Showman has demonstrated exceptional leadership. In the past year, she has resolved multiple budgetary concerns, including a $250 million operating budget reduction from fiscal year 23 to 24. Her efforts enabled the on-time, on-budget deployment of MHS Genesis, the new federal electronic health record, to all DoD garrison hospitals and clinics worldwide, including the first ever joint deployment with the DoD and VA at the James A. Lavelle Federal Healthcare Center. This effort reached over 3,600 locations and 194,000 healthcare providers, improving healthcare for U.S. military members, veterans, and their families. Our next Individual Achievement Award recognizes excellence in contracting. The recipient is Ms. Christy Orlando of US SOCOM. Ms. Orlando has demonstrated exemplary work as a contracting team lead, contracting officer, and agreements officer. While assigned to the Procurement Directorate for U.S. Special Operations Forces, Ms. Orlando's acquisition leadership, technical prowess, and partnership with U.S. SOCOM resulted in the extraordinary management and administration of a $2.2 billion contract and agreement portfolio. Her can-do attitude paved the way for Special Ops Forces to receive point-of-need knowledge, innovation, software support, and unique data resources at an affordable price to remain the premier information dominance force. Ms. Orlando's tireless efforts have directly enhanced the command's ability to achieve national defense strategy objectives. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for Engineering and Technical Management. The recipient is Mr. David Clifton of the U.S. Air Force. As Chief of Systems Integration for the Strategic Combat Systems Division, Mr. Clifton is recognized for collaborating with industry to initiate a $750 million system upgrade. This upgrade increased operational capability, stability, and resilience of our current mission systems, while also modernizing the system architecture to align with best-in-breed industry standards. Thanks to his efforts, operational downtime has decreased over 1,000% and permits 100% more system upgrades per year. Mr. Clifton has leveraged his prior industry experience to mitigate critical operational limitations, partnered with 4 other Department of Defense programs to synergize across similar efforts, and developed a modernization roadmap to shape industry investments and align government requirements. We now recognize the Individual Achievement Award for Engineering and Technical Management for Production and Sustainment. The recipient is Ms. Cheryl Redmond of the U.S. Air Force. Ms. Redmond was responsible for the $29 billion Acquisition Category 1 Long-Range Standoff Nuclear Cruise Missile Program's success as the leader of the Design for Reliability and Maintainability Integrated Product Team. She has revolutionized Department of Defense acquisition through her innovative approach to design for reliability, and it is because of her expertise and leadership that the missile program was able to reach important milestones ahead of schedule, enabling the Air Force to avoid more than $400 million of expenses on top of several years of schedule required to fix reliability issues. Our next Individual Achievement Award recognizes excellence in flexibility in acquisition, and we have 3 individual winners in this category. The first recipient is Mr. William Greg Davis of the U.S. Air Force. Mr. Davis has demonstrated exceptional flexibility and proficiency in acquisition as the procuring contracting officer for a highly classified portfolio of programs totaling more than $15 billion. He's provided expert counseling and created a plan to evaluate operations, systems, engineering, and integration and test services with a mission partner, resulting in a reduction of nearly $80 million across both contracts. His contributions have had a significant impact on the efficiency and productivity of his organization. As the embodiment of innovation, initiative, and leadership, Mr. Davis has made significant advancements in national security and acquisition outcomes. The second Individual Achievement Award in Flexibility and Acquisition goes to Lieutenant Colonel Raquel Salim of the U.S. Space Force. Lieutenant Colonel Salim's exemplary ability, initiative, collaboration, and diligence, the Command and Control Branch, has been instrumental in resolving many complex issues for the Space Force. She has balanced cost, schedule, performance, and funding for a $2.4 billion portfolio of 7 ground and space-based programs, protecting over $80 billion in space assets and providing key space capabilities to the Joint Force. Additionally, she developed 17 solutions for implementation by the Secretary of Defense that will provide long-lasting effects to exceed future adversaries' capabilities in space, safeguard our current capabilities, and support the Joint Force. And the final Individual Achievement Award in Flexibility and Acquisition goes to Mr. Christopher Wilson of U.S. SOCOM. Mr. Wilson is recognized for exemplary work leading his warfighter performance team in pursuing and delivering game-changing research studies and advancing technology development projects. Mr. Wilson managed a multidisciplinary team to field life-saving equipment, a novel blood warmer, and as a first-of-its-kind pilot study, Reblast, focused on neuroimaging and biomarkers associated with repetitive blast exposure in Special Operations Forces. Additionally, Mr. Wilson transitioned 15 biomedical and human performance projects to the Department of Defense Management, increasing the impacts of these efforts to the larger department while creating contracting efficiencies. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for International Security Cooperation. The recipient is Major Jake Singleton of the U.S. Space Force. Through his extraordinary achievements and visionary approach, Major Singleton has distinguished himself as the International Lead and Program Manager for the Deep Space Advanced Radar Capability Program. Thanks to Major Singleton's exceptional negotiation skills and mastery of the international security cooperation process, the U.S. entered an $8 billion trilateral agreement with Australia and the UK, marking a historic milestone in the international defense cooperation. His management of a multinational team with participation from 15 defense organizations resulted in significant savings and efficiency gains for the program, including a 25% reduction in lifecycle costs and the accelerated delivery of Space Command's #1 space surveillance priority. His leadership extended to include developing the adaptive international affairs framework, enhancing collaboration within Space Force's acquisitions, and positioning Space Force as a premier partner in global cooperative space development. We now recognize the Individual Achievement Award for Life Cycle Logistics. The recipient is Ms. Diane Hooper of the U.S. Navy. As product support manager, Ms. Hooper's efforts have greatly enhanced operational efficiencies, met strategic needs, and positioned their program office for success in achieving complete strategic deterrence readiness across the platform service life. She has not only set exemplary standards in contributing to the success of meeting sea-based strategic deterrence mission requirements, but she has also pioneered additive manufacturing solutions, reshaped strategic logistics organization development, and achieved much more. Our next Individual Achievement Award recognizes excellence in program management. The recipient is Colonel Timothy Howe of the U.S. Marine Corps. Colonel Howe has led the Advanced Amphibious Assault Program to deliver the Marine Corps' largest ground program, the $4.8 billion Amphibious Combat Vehicle Program, from production to the fleet, on time and within budget. He has also led the implementation of the U.S. Marine Corps' first Readiness Control Board governance structure, which focuses on unifying efforts and has been recognized as a best practice for the sustainment of weapons systems and has resulted in a nearly 30% increase in readiness within the last year. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for Services Acquisition. The recipient is Ms. Claudia Evans of the U.S. Air Force. This award is presented to Ms. Evans, Services Flight Chief, stationed at the 48th Contracting Squadron. She is commended for overseeing 25 contracting professionals across 3 sections, managing pre- and post-acquisitions valued at $300 million, 4 U.S. Air Force major commands, and 24,000 personnel spread across the UK. Her leadership has been vital to the successful execution and management of more than 70 services acquisitions valued at $269 million in support of 5 civil engineer squadrons across 12 UK locations. Ms. Evans' ability to implement change and seek innovative solutions to challenge norms while providing mentorship and development opportunities have made her and her team a crucial asset. We now recognize the Individual Achievement Award for Small Business. The recipient is Ms. Luz Maria Vasquez of the Defense Contract Management Agency. Ms. Vasquez is recognized for her in-depth evaluations of major defense contractors' small business subcontracting programs on behalf of the Department of Defense on a corporate, division, and plant-wide basis. Ms. Vasquez negotiated agreements with the 8 major defense contractor participants valued at $9.6 billion in small business subcontracting commitments, as well as initiative focused on developing target industries, ensuring that small business innovation research, small business technology transfer, and mentor-protege programs were incorporated into each participant's subcontracting outreach efforts. Her commitment to a highly specialized and trained workforce has contributed to the numerous programs and initiatives. Our next Individual Achievement Award recognizes excellence in software development. The recipient is Mr. Ricardo Farah of the National Reconnaissance Office. Mr. Farah has displayed exemplary commitment to software development for the National Reconnaissance Office, the intelligence community, and the Department of Defense. Mr. Farah led a 400-member team to execute a complex 3-pronged, 21-element, multi-phase strategy that reconstructed a premier command and control system to support a $12 billion satellite constellation to ensure national security intelligence collection activities go uninterrupted. He deployed 23 software releases while also decoupling a monolithic architecture, driving software upgrade time down by 50% and improving system schedule validation performance by 63%. His ceaseless efforts have directly resulted in consistent achievement of 99.8% or higher operational availability for 8 straight months, a first in the program's 10-year history. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for Software Management. The recipient is Ms. Noelle Marchbanks of US SOCOM. Ms. Marchbanks, Chief Platform Officer, has ensured Special Operations Forces digital applications portfolio can rapidly and consistently develop, deploy, and sustain its applications in support of software acquisition pathway programs of record that span operations, intelligence, and much more. She has been able to guide her team through several important deliveries, such as their first and second capability releases, demonstrating the team's ability to deploy the same product to multiple cloud production environments at different classification levels, as well as demonstrating their ability to automate development, security, and testing processes on an unclassified network while deploying on a secret network. We now recognize the Individual Achievement Award for Test and Evaluation. The recipient is Ms. Lindsay Underwood of the U.S. Navy. While serving as Government Flight Director for the VH-92A Patriot Integrated Test Team, Ms. Underwood reduced program costs and increased aircraft capability, creating lasting benefits to the program. She has also played a prominent role in planning and executing VH-92A's landing zone suitability risk reduction activities and was directly responsible for accelerating the design and fielding of the increased range and blade pitch angle capability on the aircraft. Ms. Underwood's forward-thinking and fleet focus has ultimately ensured that the critical capabilities for the presidential helicopter mission will continue to be delivered to the Marine Helicopter Squadron 1. Just one of many feats that support the claim that she's one of the best government employees supporting Department of the Navy test and evaluation programs today. We will now present the Individual Achievement Award for Value Engineering. The recipient is Mr. Christopher Surgeon. Mr. Surgeon is recognized for leading a multi-year procurement contract award valued at $323 million for the Special Operations Forces Unique Silent Night Radar Program. Thanks to his knowledge and effective communication skills, Mr. Surgeon has garnered $60 million in savings compared to initial budget estimates, while yielding the required system performance and reliability. Mr. Surgeon's efforts ultimately provided Special Operations Forces aviators with proven terrain following capabilities and against near-peer threats, achieving significant gains in war-winning capabilities while concurrently driving down long-term costs on one of SOCOM's largest programs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for all of our Defense Acquisition Individual Achievement Award winners. Now it's time to present the team awards. We will begin with the Software Innovation Team Award. Software is a critical element in all our major platforms and weapons systems. This award recognizes teams who are driving speed, innovation, and the use of best practices in software development and acquisition. The Software Innovation Team Award goes to the U.S. Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance NGAD Software Factory from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. This team has managed and delivered a classified software and digital infrastructure portfolio, including advanced open architectures, DevSecOps pipelines, and software for the $22.4 billion NGAD and collaborative combat aircraft programs. They have consistently delivered on-time capabilities for the DoD's first uncrewed semi-autonomous air-to-air combat vehicle, establishing an open architecture that enables rapid integration of software-defined capabilities. Currently, their autonomy software framework is the benchmark by which the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy, and international partners will field next-generation air combat vehicles, transforming the future of air combat. Next, we will present the Flexibility and Acquisition Team Awards. The 2007 National Defense Authorization Act established this award. The award recognizes outstanding professionals for their innovative and adaptive use of the flexibilities and authorities granted by the Federal Acquisition Regulation and the Department of Defense Instruction 5000.02 to increase the efficiency of programs. There are 4 teams receiving this award. The first Flexibility and Acquisition Team award goes to the U.S. Army's Product Manager Robotic Combat Vehicle Team from Detroit Arsenal, Michigan. The Product Manager Robotic Combat Vehicle is the first U.S. Army program to proactively decouple hardware and software acquisition by executing 2 adaptive acquisition framework pathways. As a result, the team can expedite hardware deliveries while simultaneously leveraging high technology companies, traditional and non-traditional, to deliver state-of-the-art robotic capabilities. Thanks to the team's innovative software development strategy, the development and delivery of foundational and transformational software capabilities has never been quicker. The second Flexibility and Acquisition Team award goes to the U.S. Air Force's Multi-Domain Combat Systems Division Enhanced Combat Systems Team from Washington, D.C. The team has demonstrated outstanding innovation and acquisition. They led all aspects of concept development, requirements definition, program initiation, and contract awards to field a priority joint force system in support of the U.S. National Defense Strategy. Most notably, the team maximized competition and pioneered the use of novel contracting authorities, reducing costs and preserving government decision space in all phases of the acquisition lifecycle. By developing a tailored open architecture program and leading a new digital acquisition paradigm, the program is postured to meet an ever-changing threat environment through continuous operational enhancements. The third Flexibility and Acquisition Team award goes to the U.S. Space Force's Satellite Communications Team from Washington, D.C. The team oversees a $36 billion portfolio, developing acquisition policies, plans, strategies, directing acquisitions of strategic and tactical systems, and assisting with the development of force design architectures for the DoD. They have driven a $6 billion acquisition strategy to deliver the next generation protected SATCOM system to support the Indo-Pacific region and led a protected team architecture trade space analysis among many other achievements. The team has distinguished themselves in support of the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Space Acquisition and Integration, and their accomplishments stand as testaments to reflect credit upon themselves, the Department of the Air Force, and the DoD. The final Flexibility and Acquisition Team award goes to U.S. SOCOM's U.S. Special Operations Command Science and Technology Innovation Cycle International Team from MacDill Air Force, Florida. The team has executed a Special Operations Forces unique collaborative development cycle that teams with international partners from the UK and Norway to conduct joint technology discovery activities, increase speed to user of capability solutions, and deliver critical warfighter capability integrated and interoperable with the U.S. SOCOM partners. Thanks to the team's contributions in building U.S. trusted partner capability, they have increased future interoperable capabilities, partner collaboration, cost savings, and disruptive capability that enables integrated deterrence. U.S. SOCOM, along with many other trusted partners, also developed prototypes demonstrating significant returns on research and development investment, increasing market research and outreach to the global level. Next, we will present the Defense Acquisition Workforce Development Innovation Awards. A high-quality, agile, and innovative acquisition workforce is vital to the increasing lethality and readiness supporting the warfighter and using taxpayer dollars wisely. The Defense Acquisition Workforce Development and Innovation Awards recognize excellence by acquisition organizations in developing unique and innovative solutions to ensure that their workforce is well equipped to deliver operational capability for the warfighter. These awards highlight outside-the-box thinking and progress in tackling workforce development challenges. We begin with the Workforce Development Innovation Award in the category of large organization, and this year's winner is the U.S. Navy's NAVSUP WSS 9 the U.S. Navy's NAVSUP WSS N972 Department Support Division Team from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. The team's contributions to DoD acquisition improvement priorities ensure command-wide superior knowledge management and transfer, including training events and succession plans to address critical skill gaps and eliminate inefficiencies. They have trained all new hires to exacting standards, which has improved employee performance, decreased turnover, and increased retention. Next, we will recognize the Workforce Development Innovation Award in the category of small organization. This year's winner is the U.S. SOCOM's Special Operations Forces Acquisition Technology and Logistics Team from MacDill Air Force Base, Florida. The team first created and chartered a unique work-life balance organization project team focused on 3 key areas of workforce challenges: compensation, workload and development opportunity imbalances, and telework policy inconsistencies. They rapidly implemented a portfolio of innovative solutions directly addressing critical workforce concerns, improving morale, retention, and development of the U.S. SOCOM acquisition workforce. Their problem-solving approach and best practices can be shared supporting DoD acquisition priorities around leveraging talent management and recruiting and retaining top acquisition talent. In the final portion of today's ceremony, we will present the David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Team Awards. Please enjoy this brief video introducing this portion of our awards ceremony.
Packard Award, established in 1996, is the Defense Department's highest acquisition team award. It honors organizations, groups, and teams who have demonstrated exemplary innovation in acquisition practices. Named after David Packard, former Deputy Secretary of Defense and co-founder of the Hewlett-Packard Company, this award is dedicated to his legacy of defense acquisition excellence. Mr. Packard's acquisition policies from 1971 reflect principles that continue to guide our acquisition workforce today, such as make the first decision right, fly before you buy, and always use the type of contract appropriate for the job. The achievements of Packard Award winners embody these principles and demonstrate the department's commitment to improving efficiency and agility. Congratulations to this year's David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award winners.
Today we are presenting 5 teams with this prestigious award. The first winner of the David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award is the U.S. Army's Integrated Fires Mission Command Project Office team from Huntsville, Alabama. The Integrated Fires Mission Command Project Office has collaborated with senior leaders and stakeholders to establish Army software pathway acquisition plans, as well as development of capabilities that allow newer generations of Army, air, and missile defense weapons system command and control to thrive. The IFMEC team has also provided critical contractor support to assist in planning, fielding, training, operation, maintenance, and sustainment of the Patriot weapon system in Ukraine. The team in question continues to set the standards for modern software development, leading to increased capability for the warfighter to match the constantly changing threat environment. Our next winner of the David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award is the U.S. Navy's PMA 201 Emergent Requirements Team from Patuxent River, Maryland. The team has contracted, designed, developed, produced, and delivered 5 Harpoon coastal defense missile systems for a critical Indo-Pacific command partner within an extremely aggressive 13-month timetable. Thanks to the ER team's efforts, vision, and dedication to the mission, they have directly contributed to delivering accelerated capability to the warfighter ahead of schedule and under budget. PMA 201's ability to provide such a highly capable product within an operationally relevant timeline to a key strategic international partner is nothing short of exemplary of the team's innovative thinking and dedication to the mission at hand. The third David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award is presented to the U.S. Air Force's Collaborative Combat Aircraft Team from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. The team is recognized for their approach when releasing 3 industry solicitations and awarding contracts for the CCA Increment 1 air vehicle, Autonomy Government Reference Architecture, and Mission Autonomy Solutions. They conducted a competitive 7-month design phase, awarding 2 options to build and flight test production representative aircraft. The team developed a novel option award contracting strategy to prevent protests. They also led a joint and interdepartmental team to develop the DoD solution for aircraft mission autonomy, executing an autonomy challenge, source selection with a digital fly-off to prove vendor credibility and capability before awarding contracts. The fourth David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award is presented to the U.S. Air Force's UCOM support team from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. In response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the team secured approval from the Secretary of Defense to urgently initiate programs worth over $1 billion to bolster Ukraine's offensive and defensive capability to defend their homeland. In 24 months of conflict, they expedited 5 foreign military sales cases and 5 amendments, slashing the traditional 12-month approval timeline to just 21 days, enabling future rapid support of real-world requirements. The UCOM support team has trailblazed new logistics avenues, shipping routes, and necessary coordination between U.S. military and European partner sites overseas, as well as helped to establish the process to create an organic Ukrainian defense industry capability on Frank-and-Sam system sustainment. The fifth and final David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award is presented to the U.S. SOCOM's Special Operations Forces Counter Unmanned Systems Team from MacDill Air Force Base, Florida. The team has creatively led cutting-edge development to fulfill aggressive requirements, delivering countless critical life-saving capabilities, including the fielding of over 500 fixed-site electronic warfare, kinetic, and handheld counter-uncrewed systems. Over the past year, this small team of acquisition professionals managed a complex portfolio spanning over 50 active efforts in execution of more than $300 million in 3 operationally combustible combatant commands. Thanks to their efforts, there was a 25% capability and capacity increase in counter uncrewed aerial systems in the United States Central Command in less than 3 months from operational demand, directly contributing to the safe return of deployed joint warfighters and special operators. Please give a round of applause for our Defense Acquisition Award, Individual Achievement. To all of our winners, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, support for our warfighters, and protection of the taxpayer. A sincere thank you to Dr. LaPlante, and we also thank the service acquisition executives, the directors of acquisition career management, functional and knowledge leaders, the A&S Director of Human Capital Initiatives, Ms. Bryant and her team, and the DAU protocol and video services staff who dedicated a significant amount of time and effort into this important recognition program. And finally, we recognize and thank the members of the Defense Acquisition Workforce for their dedication and commitment to the acquisition mission. This concludes the Defense Acquisition Awards ceremony. Please rise. After Dr. LaPlante's and Ms. Anderson's departure, you are invited to enjoy the cake and refreshments in the Hirsch Center. There will be a photographer in the auditorium as well as the Hirsch Center so that the awardees can take additional photos.